The station covering all of the DMV. This is DC News Now.
Breaking now at 10 on DC News Now. Several people shot and at least 2 are dead. The latest information tonight from Richmond, Virginia.
We are looking into the circumstances of that arrest to see if it's related.
Developing information out of Suitland, Maryland tonight. A shooting that killed one man as a burial service happened just feet away for a 10-year-old killed in an unrelated shooting.
And a cap on rent hikes in the district, but not everyone is happy with how we got here.
It just let us down. I felt really disappointed with the council and how it processed this whole situation.
We are live with what this means for renters and landlords in the district.
And good evening, everyone. I know the haze taking over most of the DMV. That forecast looks to get a lot worse going into your Wednesday. I'll break it down coming up.
Hi, everybody. Thanks for joining us for DC News Now at 10 on DCW 50. I'm Chris Flanagan.
And I'm Tasmeen Mahfouz, and we have breaking news tonight out of Richmond where 2 people are dead in a mass shooting. So here's what we know so far. 2 people are in custody, including a 19-year-old suspect. This after allegedly opening fire at a graduation ceremony for Huguenot High School. 5 other people were shot in addition to the 2 who died, and 1 victim has life-threatening injuries. Now, the 2 people who died, they've now been identified as an 18-year-old student at that high school. The other was a 36-year-old man. Their names have not been released yet. Witnesses say, though, they heard at least 30 shots fired off sometime during the graduation ceremony.
I don't know if it was like an automatic gun. They just continuously fired, and everyone started running for their lives, basically towards where we are right now, from the theater, and began trampling each other, basically just throwing all their belongings, crying, screaming for the people that they came there with and the people that they came to see graduate. It was just extremely scary.
Yeah, so that chaos that you just heard about there were several other injuries that were not gunshot related to that. So that includes a 9-year-old hit by a car, 2 people who were taken to the hospital for falling, and 3 people who took themselves to the hospital for anxiety. Now, this is a developing story. Of course, we'll bring you the very latest as it comes into our newsroom. And developing tonight, a deadly shooting at Washington National Cemetery in Suitland, Maryland.
Yeah, that shooting took place while the burial service for a 10-year-old girl from gun violence was also happening nearby. Prince George's County Police said the shooting today all stemmed from a dispute leading to a man and woman being shot. That man eventually died from his wounds. Our Yamarie Sisse has been at the cemetery all day long. Tonight, she joins us there live.
Yeah, and Yamarie, are police releasing any new information right now?
Yeah, currently at this moment, we don't have any additional information from what we already know, but police do say they have 1 person in custody when it comes to this incident. Now, this was honestly just a tragic day here at the Washington National Cemetery when family members were trying to bury 10-year-old Ariana Davis and put her to rest. There was a dispute that took place. Someone decided to open fire, killing a man and a woman. As family members mourn and celebrate the life of 10-year-old Ariana Davis, who was shot and killed by a stray bullet on Mother's Day in D.C.
We need justice for this baby.
Another act of senseless gun violence happened right as they were laying Davis to rest at the Washington National Cemetery.
Shortly after 1:15 p.m., our officers received numerous calls for disturbance.
Police say a dispute led to the shooting, killing a man and injuring a woman.
We believe that this was a dispute totally unrelated to what was going on with the funeral, the circumstances leading up to the funeral, the circumstances to the investigation in D.C. This was totally independent of that.
Now, it's not clear whether the victims were guests at the funeral, visiting the cemetery, or even how close the shooting was to the funeral. But we do know 1 person is in custody.
We have someone in custody, and we are looking into the circumstances of that arrest to see if it's related. We're looking into all aspects of the investigation. It's very early right now.
Now, as police already mentioned, it is very early in the investigation right now, but we did reach out to the cemetery to learn if any employees were involved in the incident, but they did not get back to us just yet. For now, reporting in Suitland, Maryland, I'm Yamarie Sisse, DC News Now.
All right, again, we mentioned this happened during a funeral for 10-year-old Ariana Davis.
Davis was shot on May 14th, Mother's Day, along Hay Street Northeast, and Davis and her family were driving home from a Mother's Day celebration when gunfire started ripping their car apart. Ariana spent the next 3 days in the hospital, dying the following Wednesday from her injuries.
Her funeral today presided over by Pastor Jody Fletcher. Ariana was his niece. Today, tears filled that church as her family and friends celebrated her life, wearing T-shirts bearing Ariana's face as a tribute.
I'm angry because we walking around with T-shirts with this baby face on it. And her life is worth more than a T-shirt.
Let us remember a beautiful soul we lost, the laughter and the dreams that radiate from her young spirit. May our beautiful angel rest in peace, knowing that her spirit lives within us, guiding us towards a future where such non-acts of violence are nothing but a distant memory.
D.C. Police, the FBI, and the ATF are offering a reward of up to $45,000 for information that leads to the arrest and conviction of the person responsible. You can also call D.C. Police with your information or text its tip line if you wish to remain anonymous.
And a reminder, back on April 11th, there was also a shooting at a funeral home in Southeast D.C. A man died in that shooting. 3 others were injured. That shooting happened just minutes after a funeral for 24-year-old Stefan Carroll, who was shot and killed in the district on March 24th. At the time of the shooting on April 11th at the funeral home, police were still looking for any information in Carroll's death.
It's unfortunate that someone would be so brazen to do such an act, let alone at a funeral. I mean, how low can you be of a human being to target other people at a funeral?
Well, family had requested a police presence outside that April 11th funeral, a common request for an unsolved homicide case. We did reach out to D.C. Police tonight on if there have been any arrests on the funeral home shooting or the death of Carroll. We've not yet heard back.
And switching gears now, let's get a check on the forecast with our chief meteorologist, Janessa Webb.
Janessa, a lot of haze today, much more tomorrow as well.
Oh, yeah, this forecast looks like it's going to get more expansive and actually, in short terms, worse across most of the Northeast. I was just checking out some of the numbers. New York City, just in the last hour, had the worst air quality in the world. Not in the continent, in the world, folks. Just to put that in perspective, how large of a situation this is across the Northeast and most of the Ohio Valley at this point. It's not super bad right now, but it's been very intermittent across areas of the district. With these low-lying clouds, visibility is definitely going down. So some info just for you to know. Canada, about 2.7 million acres have already burned. That's equivalent to 5 million football fields at this point. And so just fire season just starting here across the continental U.S. And so that season typically lasts about 5 months. So over 500,000 acres have already burned. And so we're off to a very quick start here with the wildfire danger. The important concept with this situation that's unfolding just in the last couple of days is this area of low pressure. It's different from last week. Remember, we had the haze filtering in. It was aloft that you dealt with that wildfire smoke. This is now at surface level, and so it's really expanding. And then you have this counterclockwise motion of this storm system allowing for smoke to really filter in well towards the south, elongated with this cold front. So you have Canada, Quebec here, and multiple. I mean, we're talking about a dozen wildfires that are burning, and so that's why it's allowing smoke to really filter in from Maine down to areas of South Carolina at this point. It's very thick in nature, and unfortunately, looking at some of our models with this smoke forecast, it's going to get worse. That's why an air quality alert, it is in effect across the district and surrounding counties starting tomorrow. We'll take a look at more of this haze coming up.
All right, Janessa, thanks. And we do want to make a quick correction. We said D.C. police have not gotten back to us about the shooting death of Stefan Carroll or the shooting at that funeral home. They have gotten back to us. They say there are no updates in the case. Meanwhile, all new tonight, calming a potential rent crisis.
Yeah, so earlier today, the district council voted to put a cap on the historic rent hikes allowed for rent-controlled units, and that cap lowers the allowed increase from nearly 9% to just 6%. And it could affect roughly 70 to 80,000 units, including in Woodley Park. And that's where we find our Mariel Carbone tonight.
Mariel, you've been following this issue for months now. So how much in savings are we actually talking about here?
Well, Chris, it could be a couple $100 to $1,000 or more. To put this all into perspective, if you are paying $2,000 a month for rent in a rent-controlled unit, with that 8.9% increase, you'd be paying about $178 more a month. Now, with the capped 6%, it's only $120 a month, so you're saving about $60 every month on rent. Now, advocates say that this is a win, but for those that are actually collecting the checks every month, they feel a little bit differently tonight.
It really is a lot of money that I'm actually thrilled that I can save now that I know I'm not going to be charged.
For Damiana Dendy, who lives in a rent-controlled building, Tuesday came with a sigh of relief.
We're happy that there was some legislation passed.
Dendy, a housing advocate, has been pushing to stop what she's called rentflation, or the historically high rent hikes on rent-controlled units.
It is an emergency, and we do need to do as much as we can to stop displacement.
Under D.C. law, landlords of rent-controlled buildings can raise rent annually based on inflation plus 2%. This year, that meant 8.9%, the highest it's been in 40 years. But Tuesday, council voted to cap that.
Will prevent the evictions of many residents living paycheck to paycheck to cover their bills,
allowing just a 6% increase in rent for this year and 12% over 2 years. For seniors and disabled people, it's even lower, but
inflation impacted landlords just like it impacted everybody else.
Landlords say this new change will hurt them.
So it costs us more for maintenance, for costs, operations, staffing. And because these buildings are old, they require more to maintain and operate.
Dean Hunter is the CEO of the Small Multifamily and Rental Owners Association. He manages and sells properties subject to rent control.
And again, we're talking about private property. This isn't government money. If the government wants to support affordable housing, pay for it.
And so with that new rent cap, that will go into effect on July 1st. And Chris and Thasmin, even though Dendy says she's happy about this, the group she's with, DC Jobs with Justice, was actually pushing for an even lower cap of 5% to put us more in line with what some neighboring communities are doing. Earlier this year, Prince George's County put a rent cap of 3% for rent-controlled units, and Montgomery County is also considering a 3% cap. Reporting live in Woodley Park tonight, I'm Ariel Carbone, DC News Now.